So I'm delighted this morning. I'm with Luke Hamill. I almost said Luke Skelton because I spent more time with Luke Skelton this month.
Right.
Luke's at the evening meet in central London. Well, it's two Lukes this month. It's Luke Hamill, who's co-host, Luke Skelton, who's going to be presenting on sourcing, plus Aaron and Aaron Yahara, who I did a fantastic interview with yesterday, and Marina Conway Gordon, who is head of marketing for East 8. Luke, that's Thursday evening. It's going to be a busy week because tomorrow evening is the Wandsworth 7-year anniversary, and the likes of Torpor Test will be presenting just a keynote short presentation, and then we go into the panel which looks at development and looks at the funding. And of course, we briefly just touched on just a few seconds ago about Funding Circle pulling out of development finance, which is interesting, to say the least. And I'm sure lots of the questions are going to be funding related tomorrow. There's also going to be about how or what areas are Stefan Canavan or Canavan from Landmark Projects, and also Stuart Ross from Inspired Asset Management, which is run by Martin Skinner. Why are they looking at investing outside of London? Both of them are looking at Manchester as the next thing. I think Stefan even said Manchester is the next Croydon. Now I don't know. What your views are, Luke, and what you've been up to. But I know you're at both meets, so it's going to be a really quite busy 3 days for you. So, what would you like to share, Luke, this morning with my listeners?
Looking forward to it. It's always a great event, isn't it? We get so many people, you get so many people there, and lots of learning. Just Manchester. I've been in Manchester. Investing and developing things there, but on a smaller scale. So I'm also fascinated to see Martin's scale and ambition. And Birmingham, I think he was looking at a lot as well, wasn't he? So I'm interested about Manchester. It's obviously connections to fast train links and the Northern Powerhouse and the focus on the region. So it's cheaper, but yeah.
I was going to say, Luke, Tuesday evening tomorrow is going to be amazing in terms of number of VIPs. And I've lost count in a way, to be fair. Yourself, Vanish Patel, I've got Bill Patel, David Sanderman from Essential Information Group, got David Salmon, Angela Bryant. I don't know if you've come across Angela Bryant, Luke. So quite a large portfolio, or not quite a large, a very large portfolio, which she's looking at different opportunities now, and lots of people are looking at what the opportunities are, because the traditional buy-to-let investor is, and this is a discussion which I had with Tor this morning, isn't quite the same as it was a couple of years ago because of government regulation. What would you add to that, Luke?
I think the tax change is obviously changing the landscape quite significantly. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, mostly about the government changes in terms of tax. So, some investors are going down the more corporate route, but some investors are also thinking it's about time we maybe reassessed our portfolios, possibly selling some of our portfolio off.
First year, isn't it? We've got it's a reduction. It's phased in, and right now you can expense 75% of your cost of capital, which is borrowing money. So whether it will be a very different landscape, and obviously every political change, always creates opportunities. So that's what we need to be focusing right now. What are the opportunities here? And so long term, properties always goes up. It's just as I often say, like the world we're in, credit, money creation, and obviously it goes into assets, and if you can create your own network, or realizing your own asset to then bring money and find money if you haven't got money to get into the capital of property, which will always go up. And right now, the next few years will be a seismic change that we've never experienced, and there will be opportunities in that. So.
Sure. Look, Luke, you touched on network. So, what's, and of course you've been running Central London with me for a couple of years now, maybe even more than a couple of years. I know that group will be celebrating later this year its third year anniversary, and
Last week, how
Yeah, and
was life?
I think you've been there since the fourth or
Yeah.
fifth meet. Um, and it's certainly changed in the last 3 years, that the landscape, let alone looking at since Wandsworth's been around since 2010. So that's the do you remember what your journey was like in 2010? Were you full-time investor at that moment, or
I'd sort of a bit haphazard, really, Brendan, and being associating and networking, and you drag yourself up, don't you? And you meet people, you see what they're doing, and I just got more systemized, more organized, and building a business, really. So, which could function without me more. So, do more things that you want to do, and less of the things that you don't enjoy doing.
I was going to say it was a fascinating conversation I had with Tor. Not today, it was last week. Well, I met up with Tor did today, but it was last week when Tor was just going through what the key benefits of networking are. And one of them is about stretching your comfort zone, seeing what other people are doing. And Tor's, I don't want to put words in Tor's mouth, but he more or less said you really need to be competitive if you're going to be an entrepreneur. You can see what other people are doing as well. Of course, people do like to work together in joint ventures. People come together. Um, and what would your suggestions be about enhancing that networking experience, whether it's for tomorrow at the Wandsworth Property Network, or whether it's at the Central London Property Meet, which is on a third Thursday of the month, whether it's this coming Thursday evening or whether it's further down the road? What would your suggestions be to people thinking, look, we're open to joint ventures? What would your suggestions be about enhancing their network, their time at the meet?
It's just planning it, Brendan. You sort of plan ahead, like what going to these meetings, and sometimes or a lot of the time, you don't really want to do it. It's like after work, you're tired, or travel and all that, and it's especially hard. I've had these issues in the past, and obviously still do. But yeah, you've just got to build it in and plan it, and think align it with something that you really, really want, and make it happen. It becomes more enjoyable as well. The more people you know, and I suppose you're planting seeds all the time. Some people you might not sort of rush in to do business with. That's always where you look back and you think it's where you've made your mistakes. But you get to know people, and later down the line, you start to see opportunities. You can work with people. It's just deals come to you as a result of you're not expecting. It doesn't never goes as you expect it to, but you just need to keep going, and things start happening. Just a momentum, Brendan.
Just one final question, Luke. You touched on sometimes you may not necessarily want to go to a networking meet. Something comes up or something. Yes, you can plan, but is it about having that really strong, deep down vision, which maybe gets you to a meet which you're thinking, should I duck out tonight? I have to admit, I've had times recently, even when I've not gone to a meet. My goal is to go to at least 3 other meets per month. It's quite tough because that would be 6 meets a month rather than. So I have to admit, I haven't done a huge amount of networking myself in the last couple of months, but it will definitely increase significantly. But is it about your vision being strong enough? Is that what it is, Luke? Or
yeah, it definitely is, isn't it? It's just you have to make it align it with something that is personal to you. For me, it was just getting away from having to commute to a job, an office, and the issues with health and circulation. I didn't want to go back to hospital, so that for me was why having to make a business work. I had that pain, so aligning that to why. So yeah, it seems like a pain to go in the evening to a networking event and spend 3 hours, and the travel time as well. And but when you can think, right, if this can get me out of doing this every single day, 5 days a week, and then having to spend 8 hours in an office or 9 hours, whatever it is, that's something you don't necessarily feel passionate about. It's that thing, isn't it? What you have to do all the time. Probably you might start out enjoying it, but then if it's taking all your time and it takes over your life, how much do you still love it? I don't know.
Luke, we're going to end there because I'm sure we're going to catch up again on another Zoom, maybe a Facebook Live. I'm definitely keen to do a
We'll do a lot
Facebook Live.
and on Thursday, so people get down. It's really important. We did some good, did some. Well, I hope you
Well,
like it.
what I found fascinating at Nicole's one-day event, and that's why I brought Marina into the event as well. Marina Conway Gordon, she does the marketing for Nicole. What was interesting, Luke? We usually do Facebook Live, which is great. Doing reviews. We might mix it up with some Instagram reviews. Just literally same as Facebook Live, but using Instagram maybe for one or two of them. Possibly might even do a Snapchat review. I have to admit, when Nicole's event, they did literally a 10-second Snapchat review, so it was interesting to see.
Right.
Look, yeah, well, it's interesting, Luke. You can say it and do a lot in 10 seconds as well. And I'm really delighted to welcome Aaron and Marina on Thursday evening. So they're covering social media, plus Luke Skelton's focusing on sourcing as well. So it's a content-rich evening, and it's got your insight as well. I know you're using social media a lot more than you were a year, 2 years ago. I think everyone is becoming warmer to social media, and of course tomorrow evening is the Wandsworth 7-year anniversary, as I say, the keynote from Tor Portes from Crowd With Us, and then going into the property panel focus on development and covering all angles, whether it's the architect, the project manager side, whether you're looking at the finance, whether you're looking at the legal aspects as well. Are there any legal issues? So, Luke, I just want to say huge thanks for your time this morning. I look forward to seeing you this coming, tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you. And I just want to say, sorry, Luke, what you going to say?
No, it's Thursday as well.
Thursday. And I want to say huge thanks to those listeners as well. I see the number of YouTube viewers or subscribers has risen. So huge thanks. And yes, I know there's a few videos which I haven't aired yet. They will definitely be airing as soon as 20th of April's out of the way. Then I've got a little bit more time. So huge thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Brendan. I look forward to see you all there on tomorrow night.
Thank you. Bye for the moment.
Cheers.